Cockney and Son, now don't be daft. We've got proper opinions and plenty of graft. Old school chat with a podcast twist. So stick the kettle on, you don't want to miss. Cockney and Son, 2 generations in one London. Cool, blimey, governor.
Here we go. Are you ready for episode 4?
Yes, I am. I'm getting into it now. I'm a professional.
You are a professional podcaster.
Well, so they say.
Have you added it to your CV? Because I feel like you've given your CV a little bit more variety.
Well, it is. It's got more than 4 lines now.
Posting, delivering.
Yeah, bit of a pattern.
Podcast host.
Exactly.
So how's your week been in this horrendous heat wave that we've been having?
Lovely, mate. Lovely. I'm telling you. You've got to enjoy it.
Yeah?
Because, as we said last week, the sun's here. You've got to enjoy it. You don't know when it's going to change. And today,
yeah,
bang.
It's
all
rain,
changed.
grey clouds.
It's going to be cooler.
Yeah,
which will
it
please
was
some
horrible
people.
to sleep last night, not gonna lie, and it's horrendous trying to put the kids to bed in this heat. It's just awful, and you just feel tired as soon as you wake up. But anyway, we're not going to moan about it.
No moan about it, because it's like...
Because this morning I was disappointed when I came down and it was grey clouds and horrible
last week,
weather.
You got to embrace it while it's here.
Well, moving on to something a bit more exciting. We are now on episode 4. The views are still growing.
They are.
The followers are growing.
Oh, that's good.
It's all going in the right direction. So now we've got our audience.
Yes.
We need to keep it.
Okay.
So we don't want everyone just to go, oh, that was fun.
We ain't got to pay them.
No, we ain't got to pay them. But we want to become part of their routine.
Of course.
Their weekly routine. So,
yes.
On Fridays, if you're travelling to work, driving in the car, doing a bit of housework, bit of gardening, going for a shopping, they want to pop in their headphones.
Of course, yeah.
Listen to Cockney Son.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we want to do.
It brings a smile to their faces.
Cool, blimey, governor. It's now time for a bit of a natter.
So this week on Bit of a Natter, we are talking about all things parenting. You're a parent. I'm a parent.
So they say.
You was parented.
I was.
Yeah, I was parented. There's a lot to unravel here.
It is.
Yeah?
It is. Yes.
Parenting through the ages, through the decades. Yeah.
Well, yes. It has changed.
Because obviously when you was a child and you was parented by your parents.
Yes.
Yeah. Completely different to nowadays.
Oh, completely different.
Is there anything that sticks in your mind that you are potentially scarred by from your parents? That you would think, God, if only if I was a kid in 2025, that would have never have happened.
I mean, the way the kids talk to their parents, not all kids, but some of the kids, the way they talk to their parents and the attitudes.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know how that's become so bad, because, when I was a kid, you didn't really speak to your parents like that because you knew you'd be in trouble.
So you're saying, basically, that kids nowadays have the confidence to answer back more, or they aren't as worried about the implications of being like rude or back chatting or whatever.
Yeah,
so
I think
what would have happened back then if your parents had said, Steve, can you take the rubbish out, put it in the tin can thing outside? And go, no, you do it.
Yeah.
What would happen?
Well, you would have mostly you got a slap round the old luggos. Right?
That's ears, yeah.
Down here. You would have got
slap round the logo.
You would have got a telling off with some swear words.
Yeah.
And then you would do it. But I think now the discipline is eased a little bit.
Yeah.
Kids know how far they can go.
So clip round the ear, clip round the logo.
Yeah.
That was a common thing.
Was a common thing.
For just you or for everyone, do you think?
Well, for most families in them days, the discipline was there.
So when you say discipline, do you mean that you were too scared to answer back or say something because you didn't want to get hit,
sometimes
basically?
it wasn't always the smacking and that.
Yeah.
It was just sometimes it would just be a look.
Yeah.
Off your mum.
Yeah.
We lived with me nan and granddad. And they would have a little words as well.
Yeah. So you know the limits of what you could do and get away with.
Because they brought their children up for discipline. And that's how it went. But sometimes it only took a look, and you knew that you couldn't go no further.
So what do you think has changed from then? I know that you're saying discipline and everything, but the only thing that so far we've have talked about is physical contact.
Yes, well, it was a big thing back then. I mean, even the schools had it, didn't they?
So are you saying that you think that should be
Oh no, I'm
more
not saying,
of a thing?
No, I'm not saying it's more of a thing, but it's the way some parents they just don't seem to want to, like, if the child is misbehaving,
Yeah.
they don't want to put their view across, saying, you know, why are you being like this, and
Yeah.
they seem to go, oh no, you can't do this, you know, and it's like sometimes that don't work. You need a firm hand. I'm not saying like the physical. No, but sometimes.
All right. Okay. So
just say
take
like
away
a look and change your voice.
Okay. So you're saying that the discipline is instilled in the child, so that if they were playing up or being silly or whatever, and you went too far, and your mum gave you the look, instantly you would be like, okay, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, you know, because you'll see some reels now on the Instagram. You'll see like some parents.
Gentle parenting.
Gentle parenting going, oh, you know, you mustn't do that next minute. And then you see the other side, where it's a shout and a look, and the kid, and they stop.
Right. But I think before we talk about more styles of parenting, this isn't anything against anybody who gentle parents.
No, not at all. No, if that's the way they want to go about it, then fair enough.
We're not saying that physical thing is the answers to solving. We're just having a conversation about what it was like for you,
for me.
what it was like for me.
Well, not just me, it's all the kids in that time.
And obviously what it's like nowadays.
Yes.
Okay. So things like picky eaters, this is a thing, like, you know, the kids, the boy more than the girlie is a bit more of a picky eater. Obviously, if your mum, what was a typical meal? Let's just make one up. Just say like pie and mash. Right, so what I'm saying is your mum would go, right, today we're eating bangers and mash, let's just say for argument's sake. There we go. I don't like bangers and mash.
Well, you wouldn't get nothing else.
Really?
In them days, you would sit around a table. So you had it at the same time.
Yeah.
No, not these like today where kids get different meals, different times.
Yeah.
There was one meal at your table.
Yeah.
And you ate it. And if you didn't eat it, then that's it.
You didn't get
nothing else. No. There was no snacking either, as like a lot of kids do today. Snacking. There's none of that. It was just the dinner.
So it's a completely different lifestyle as well.
Well, yeah,
because obviously when you say like there's one meal, obviously that's because of like cost. As obviously back then you could afford like a certain amount of food, and it's easier and probably budget friendly to buy one dinner for everyone. Obviously kids have so much choices nowadays.
It wasn't like kids never had a menu back then. It was like where some parents they go to each kid, what do you like? What do you want for dinner? What do you want for dinner? I want pasta. I want this. That would happen.
No.
It was just one meal was made.
Yeah.
You had your obviously had your pudding as well, ice cream.
The luxury that you hate now.
You had all your veg and all your stuff in the school I went to, primary school.
So so we've got like general behaviour, which was you knew your limits as however old you were, because of what happened. Your food, you knew that if you don't eat that, you aren't going to get that. Okay, so then obviously you're at school. Teachers, you said that they were allowed to do whatever they wanted in terms of like caning and stuff. You had
the secondary school.
You had caning in secondary school.
Oh yeah, our PE master. He was ex-boxer. He would if he saw bullying, he would make the bully put the gloves on. And made out he was giving him a boxing lesson, but really he was like teaching him.
So he made the bully put boxing gloves on, and then so the teacher had a boxing match with the kid.
Yeah, but the kid thought he was having a boxing match, but really he was teaching him discipline. Yeah, but you had.
What else did you see at secondary school?
We had cane. Well, I've got the cane times.
So when you say cane, was that from talking in class? Or
talking in class, and like.
And was you given a warning or?
No. I went in the assembly. I remember once me and my mate was talking in assembly.
Yeah.
The headmaster, he saw us. Yeah. Straight to his office after, two on the hand.
So hitting you on the knuckles?
No, on the palm of the hand.
On the palm of your hand. And did it hurt?
Of course it did, yeah. But some teachers were like more brutal. I mean, our deputy headmaster.
Yeah.
He used to he had to cane up his sleeve of his jacket.
Yeah.
So he'd be walking with his arms like that. So if he saw kids messing about in the corridors,
Yeah.
he'd let it slide.
Yeah.
He was like Zorro.
Hitting.
It's just
What if you was like running or what?
get to class, or if you're milling about the classroom, get to class. But then if you've done something really bad, if you got him, he would give you 6. Like you should call it 6 of the best.
He used to say 6 of the best.
Yeah.
No, but like,
and you hear the screaming,
and that's just a normal public school in Fulham.
It was a rough school in Fulham.
No, but what I'm saying, it was a public school.
It was just a state
so
school.
it weren't like anything like. It's not like a school where kids were sent off to.
It wasn't,
this was just Steve's going to what was it?
Henry Compton.
Henry Compton, just a normal public school in
Normal
Fulham.
public school, yeah.
And that would you say that and what years was that? 60s.
That would have been around 69.
Around 69. So 1969,
Yeah.
public schools, Fulham, teachers were allowed to effectively cane kids.
We had one teacher.
And that was normal. That was a normal situation.
Well, we had one English teacher. He was doing the old blackboard.
Yeah.
Erasing.
Please explain what a blackboard is. No, I'm joking.
And he had his back.
Yeah.
And he was obviously writing on there. And he's going, I can hear you talking.
Yeah.
I can't remember the boy's name. Say Smith. I can hear you talking, Smith.
Yeah.
I don't want talking in my class. Oh, wait. The kids kept on talking.
Yeah.
Next minute, he's turned around. He's thrown the
eraser.
It's hit him straight on the head, and it's like dust, of chalk dust. It's good.
What happened? Was he alright? The kid?
The kid was fine.
What would have happened though if he had thrown that?
Yeah.
And it hit him
in the
eye or something and caused him damage.
It would have got chalk dust in his eye. No, well, I don't know what the consequences.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. What like nowadays?
It would just been. They might have just covered it up.
Although that is effective way.
Yeah.
Like it's an effective way. I do understand that kids were silent and kids were like that, but I don't agree with it.
No.
But like, and I know you're not saying that that's what needs to happen nowadays.
No, but that's how it was. But I mean, you imagine a teacher going into the classroom today.
Yeah.
When they're obviously being a bit rowdy and all that.
Yeah.
And he's going pee quiet. That's not.
I do think that like, although I don't have an answer or a suggestion to make it to give like advice to a secondary school teacher nowadays, because I'm pretty sure it must be a hard job.
It must be a tremendous job.
Yeah.
If the teacher don't go in there and sort of assert his authority a little bit, he's going to get the runaround, isn't he?
It's probably like, although obviously put my hands up to anyone who teaches secondary school nowadays, it must be really hard to do that job, because I don't know. There's the extreme of what you said, and then there is so much. It's gone the other way so much that kids know that teachers aren't allowed.
Yes, of course.
What they're not allowed to say to them. They're not physically allowed to touch them.
Right.
And obviously I agree with that. But at the same time, is how do you find a balance where that's all effective? Because obviously disciplining, like physical discipline, it shouldn't be allowed.
If the discipline is not in the home.
Yeah,
that's where it starts. If the parents
are disciplining the child,
disciplining the child.
Yeah,
as the child gets older, if he's not taking notice of his parents, then he thinks he can get away with talking to anyone like that.
Yeah,
and that's where your problem is.
Like the approach to parenting nowadays compared to how your parents parented, and even how you, because we spoke about how I was allowed to go out till the lights came on and all that sort of like the freedom. You can't do that nowadays, because it's not, depending on where you live, one, it's safety,
of course,
but then I do sometimes think that those issues, and probably not extreme back when we were younger, but because you're more aware of situations that happen because of social media and news, like what can happen to children. The thought of letting your kid go out to play, where you would be like, yeah, go on, just go, make sure you're thinking, and without worrying about it at all. Like nowadays, as I say, depending on where you live, if you live obviously out in the countryside in a nice little village, you could probably do that. But like London, you just wouldn't. I wouldn't do that.
Well, it's not. Well, some parts of London, it's not.
No. Well, I think year 6, I used to get on the bus home
Well, you got. Well, I mean, years ago you had a conductor.
Yeah.
And the bus driver.
Yeah.
If there was any trouble, like he would tap on the window.
Yeah.
Behind where the driver was sitting, he would jump out, and you got two of them now. The driver just sits there. He ain't going to get out.
Yeah.
He's not getting out where he sits.
It starts at home. So how you're taught at home.
Yes.
And your manners and respect and stuff like that. Obviously, that filters out to the school life and you know what you think.
Manners, yeah.
You know, if kids are saying stuff that they shouldn't be saying, where have they learnt that from?
Yeah.
And obviously that plus social media plus what they're allowed to watch and all that sort of stuff. Their friends.
Yeah, but also some kids do get if they get in the wrong crowd.
Yeah, obviously we're looking at secondary school September, October, and that not only is that like I can't believe that we're looking at secondary schools because it's gone so quick, but secondly is I do think like I'm worried about the kids that he may potentially be easily influenced by,
course,
and then that whole scenario, whereas obviously primary school's kind of like primary school and secondary school is crazy. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is this thing I've seen on social media, and you don't need to take offence to this because it is aimed at your generation, like age group, okay? Obviously, growing up as a kid in like the 80s, 90s, obviously grandparents were there quite a lot in terms of like school holidays. I remember going to the caravan.
Yeah,
I remember doing this, like Nan living on the estate, you know, being quite full on in our life, which obviously would then give you and mum freedom to do what you wanted to do, you know, as well as, and then having that support. So basically what they're saying is their parents, so parents of my age or like 30s or whatever are saying that there's just no help from their parents.
Yeah.
Like how they remember their grandparents being.
Yeah.
And it's like, especially in a situation now where parenting is a lot harder, there's just no support or no like respite or whatever. They're basically just saying that all these kids remember growing up and their grandparents being heavily involved in their lives, and that now that they're the adult and their parents are the grandparent, they're just not around.
I mean, we lived with my nan and granddad.
Yeah.
That was my mum's one.
Yeah.
And my dad's mum and dad, they lived about 10 minutes from us.
Yeah.
But not all grandparents live.
No, I know that, and I'm not saying it applies to everyone.
But
it's like those grandparents were happy being grandparents and trying to be involved as much as possible. Where this next generation of grandparents are like just living their life. They want to go out and do what they want to do.
Because they've got to a state where then they've got to the stage where the kids they think they're grown up.
Yeah.
Well, we've done our bit.
Yeah.
So their children.
We'll leave you to it.
And they're going.
What I think is that parents who had their parents full on helping out the kids weren't really. I wouldn't say they would never stress or never, but I don't think that they were as stressed or as burnt out as a lot of parents nowadays are.
Well, I think
they don't remember that because it would never happen to them. Do you know what I mean?
But I think you've been some grandparents today.
Yeah.
Most really can't cope with some of the behaviour of some of the kids.
No.
So that's most really why they say no.
Yeah.
I mean, you're lucky that your grandparents are.
What?
Me being a grandparent, I'm full on.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying, is although that you are and everyone is, but I don't think it's as much as.
No, of course not. Some kids, some children don't see their grandparents.
No. I think that me and Rich have done 2 nights away max, and obviously the boy's going to be 10. So you think in 10 years we've only ever been away 2 days? That's a lot of time when you think of all of the times that we was at the caravan and things like that.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is this generation, and I read that obviously it's going to switch again, because obviously as parents now we'll remember how hard it is and all that sort of stuff. So when our kids have their kids, it will switch back to the grandparents being a bit more full on. Right, so that was a bit of a natter on parenting. Moving on to something much more fun and uplifting.
Yes.
And it's a surprise because you do not know what is coming for...
Adam and Eve it? Would you? I can't believe it. Adam and Eve it.
I'm really excited about this Adam and Eve it because it's not a rant. I know I did say to you, think of a rant.
Okay.
And you went to all that effort.
Yes.
But I'm going to throw a surprise at you.
Okay, go on.
Because this could turn into a bit of a rant.
Okay.
But we shall find out. So I've got something hidden that I want you to look at, observe. Yeah. Obviously, for people listening, you need to really describe your thoughts and any opinions you have on this, okay? So I saw this. It's gone viral all over social media.
Yeah. One of those, is it?
Yeah, I think it's linked to the Wimbledon. Is that coming up?
That's already started.
Oh, it's already started.
It started on Monday.
Is the viral strawberries and cream sandwich, okay? So what I want you to do is have a look at it. I want you to open it up, have a little taste, okay? And then I'm going to get your opinion on it, okay? So here we go. It's called the Red Diamond Strawberry and Cream Sandwich.
So what they're doing, they're cashing in on the Wimbledon. Yeah? Wimbledon week.
How do you feel, first of all, about a strawberry and cream sandwich?
Well, it don't sound good, does it? You know, why would you put strawberries and cream into a bit of bread? Right,
so hold it up. How much do you think that cost?
Or just, is it only the one slice?
It's only one slice.
Oh, right, that's got to be £1.50.
£1.50. So that's £2.80.
£2.80 for what?
It's £2.80 for the half of strawberries.
And you got what?
Count them up.
You got.
He's counting the strawberries, people.
No, you got sort of one strawberry's cutting about 4 there.
Yeah.
So you got one strawberry.
I think it's a bit more than one strawberry.
Well, no, because they're only little small.
Okay.
So you already
probably like 2 strawberries.
I reckon that's one and a bit strawberries.
Yeah.
A little bit of cream.
Yeah. So that's £2.80.
And one slice of bread.
£2.80 for the strawberries and cream viral sandwich. So people are searching it everywhere for this. It's sold out.
Sold out?
Because when something goes viral, everyone wants it. And I actually, for this dedication and of this podcast, obviously you came today and I wasn't here. I had to drive to 3 different supermarkets where this is available to find this just for you.
Just for me?
Okay.
I don't want it.
Give me... So I want you to take a big bite and then give us your opinion. That's a big bite, that is. The sounds on the audio. Don't worry, if you're listening and not watching, I've not fed it to a horse. What does it taste like?
It's just like...
What does the bread taste like?
You can't really taste the bread because it's... I think the bread... The strawberries and cream outdoes the bread.
The strawberries and cream nice, though?
Yeah, strawberries and cream is like strawberries and cream.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can taste...
Anyway, the strawberries and cream, I like strawberries and cream.
No, but they taste...
Is it like a normal slice of bread?
I don't think you can taste the bread because of the...
I was going in for a second one. Why is it crunching though? Are the strawberries like soft or are they...
No, strawberries are nice.
Yeah.
The cream's okay.
So
I'm not really a creamy person.
Do you need a napkin?
But I don't think you can taste the bread.
No. So far you're liking it apart from the bread?
Yeah, because the strawberries and creams, the flavour mix is overpowering the...
overpowering?
The bread.
Are you a chef now?
It's overpowering. It's overpowering the bread.
Right, you know? So I just thought for something a bit more practical for would you Adam and Eve it? So viral sandwiches.
Well, I wouldn't pay £2.80 for that.
You wouldn't?
No, because you can get like a proper sandwich,
right?
Or even a baguette.
Yeah.
You know,
for £2.80,
which is most probably more value for money.
Why? So do you?
It's just a
gimmick.
A gimmick, isn't it?
Let me have a look. So this is a limited edition. So I don't know how long it's around for.
We should have kept it in the box.
Oh wow, 36% red on something. Anyway, I'm not going to read it.
That's good. The cholesterol's gone up now.
Okay, so here we go.
They're trying to kill me on that.
So would you grab this again?
No.
Yeah.
If I was in that store,
I
would look at me thinking, nah, they're just they're just because it's Wimbledon.
Yeah.
It's like when you see a lot of people, they're walking about with tennis rackets. Most of them ain't played the game.
No.
Because it's Wimbledon. I reckon half of them ain't even got the racket. It's just the handle stuck in the rucksack.
So for Wimbledon, you say just go buy cream and strawberries.
What's that strawberry and creams? Yeah. If I saw that on social media going, there's a sandwich, strawberry and cream sandwich, I wouldn't go, I better go and look for that.
Yeah, you wouldn't. You wouldn't be bought in by it.
I wouldn't. No, I go, why? Why are they putting strawberries and cream into a sandwich anyway?
Yeah. Do you think the sandwich should just be left alone?
Well, it should be, strawberries and cream should be in a bowl.
Yeah. Do you remember Prime? Like that? Prime, there was this drink that these two YouTubers brought out and everyone was going crazy. Now you can buy it for like £1 in.
Yeah. Well, that's how they make their money, didn't they?
Yeah.
They come up with this, they give it all the big advertisement, they get good like videos and what's name up on the social media, the kids fall for it.
Yeah.
Then they go to their mums and dads, I want that Prime drink. So their poor mums and dads got to go around looking for the old stuff.
So the viral strawberries and cream sandwich, you're giving it a no?
No, not at all.
No.
You can see why they've only done
half of them.
Half one fab, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some people's going to love it. Some people might actually have one every day.
But I think that's why it's a limited edition, because people buy it once, and I don't think they'll go back and buy it again.
Well, they might really, once they've sold out, they might won't stock it again.
No. Right, well, there we go. Would you Adam and Eve it?
No, I wouldn't Adam and Eve it, no.
Would you ever thought in your lifetime you would see a strawberry?
That someone would come up with a strawberry and cream sandwich? No.
Yeah.
They should bring out Chippy Loaf again.
Chippy Loaf?
Yeah.
What's Chippy Loaf?
Well, we used to go down when we got out of school. If we got out of school at lunchtime, we didn't want the school dinners.
Could you hold it with your sore hands?
We'd go down to the baker's. We'd get the
loaf.
Yeah, not a slice loaf. It's like not a slice loaf. It's a bloomer or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Get the woman cut it in half.
Yeah.
So I'd have half, Tony have half, and we'd take the dough out.
Yeah. What did you do with the dough?
I would bung it at people.
Feed the ducks.
You
can't feed the ducks bread now.
And then you go in the chip shop, put the chips in, and eat it lunch.
What was that? Salt.
That's the salt and vinegar.
That's actually so nice.
And you eat the chippy loaf.
Why is that not a thing anymore?
I have no idea.
Is that a thing?
It was a thing. Chippy loaf.
So Chippy Loaf.
I think what they do now.
We need to track it down. Is there such thing as a chippy loaf?
I think what they do now is more like of a chip batty. They put chips in a roll.
There's so many different ways to say that, isn't there? Chip batty.
Chip batty.
Depending where you're from. But you're saying a crusty loaf.
Crusty loaf, cut it in half.
Pull the dough out.
Pull the dough out so you just got the crust.
So it's like a bowl of bread.
You put your chips in and then you can put whatever.
I think I need to try and make one of them.
Yeah, condiments.
And does anyone know any fish and chip shops in the southeast area that sell chippy loaf?
No, you have to go and get your own bread.
So why would the fish and chip shop not get their own if it was so popular? Then they could charge £1 for the roll.
You know, I've got enough doing their fish and chips.
It's a money maker. You can't just not make money.
Well, then the bakers would lose out, wouldn't they?
Right. So chippy loaf, fine. Strawberries and cream sandwich, no. £2.80.
£2.80.
Right. It is now time for a little bit of advice.
Don't sugarcoat it. Sometimes in life, you just gotta say it like Steve.
You all know by now, this is the part where Steve, my dad, gets to unload some wisdom.
Of course.
On one lucky person.
Yes.
So here we go with this week's Say It Like Steve question. Dear Steve, my son wants to drop out of school and become a professional YouTuber, and my wife says we should let him follow his dream. Should we let him do that? That's it.
A professional YouTuber?
Yeah, so I guess like influencer YouTuber, because obviously the thing is though, I know that that's what I do.
Yes.
Not YouTube.
Yeah.
But influencing or whatever it's called, content creator.
Yeah.
So basically that's a new career that kids all want to do.
Well, I think if he's into it and he's good at it, let him have a go. I mean, he could. I think you should let him have a go and.
But not drop out of school.
Well, how old is he? Does it say how old this guy is?
No.
I mean, he
can't drop out of school though.
Well, he might be.
Why don't they just do it around school? Yeah,
but he might be in college or something, won't he?
It might just be as a thing that, like, say, because obviously there's no age. It might be like, say, the kid is 13, and they're just saying, "I want to leave school." No, I know. I'm not saying that this kid is 13. This kid could be like.
I mean, he must be
21.
No, but I mean, he must be near. Come to the end of his schooling because if he's willing to drop out.
But I don't think. I don't know.
Because you can't just drop out of school, can you?
No.
So
okay, that's not the question.
No,
whether you can or cannot.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, to drop out to follow his dream of being a YouTuber.
Yeah.
So this is where I don't want to come off as thinking I am sort of anything, but I do think that becoming a successful social media, and I would even say that I am that successful on social media, because this kid or whoever is probably watching these YouTubers that have billions of followers, billions of streams.
Yeah, he's thinking, I could do that.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, but I think because obviously content creating or influence or whatever you want to call it, I think people don't see it as a job and they think it's easy. They don't really see the behind the scenes things, and obviously you can't just start a YouTube channel, and I mean, look how long it took us to get to 100.
This chap, he might have done his research, you know.
But what I'm saying, no, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, I do think there's an element of luck.
Of course, it is. It's like any,
to it.
Yeah, but it's like any job, anything you go for, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the boy wants to play as a goalie for Chelsea when he's older.
Yeah, of course.
So obviously, on some level, you know, do you say to him, don't do that, because obviously the chances of that happening are quite low. Not saying that because he couldn't do it, but what I'm saying is, it's not like if he said, oh, I want to be a bus driver. Do you know what I mean? Nothing wrong with being a bus driver. I'm just saying that career...
You got that in quick.
I'm just saying in case a bus driver's listening. But what I'm saying is, that seems more attainable, which I'm not saying that people shouldn't follow their dreams, but it's a hard one, isn't it? Because you've got the dreams of what you want to do, and then you've got the reality that comes with it.
But you got kids now you got a lot of kids that don't even go to school. Right. So this guy's in school, and he wants to become a YouTuber or whatever. So, I mean, he might have done his research. He might think.
But what do you mean, done his research?
Well, he might have looked at it and thinking, "Oh, that's good. I might be."
That's like me going, "Oh, I could be in the army."
Yeah, but I mean, that's right. No, but unless you're going to give it a go.
But I understand that. But the reality is, it's that safety.
Yeah, but as you say, he might have that luck where he might, you know, get into it and make a success of it. Where he might leave school, go into a job that he doesn't really want to do.
Right.
And
so, all right then. Say it like Steve. Give the advice. What are you telling these parents to do?
Well, I'm saying, let him have a go at it.
But not drop out of school.
No, not drop out of school at first. No, I mean, like, he's in school, and he wants to go into this. Put the feelers out first, see if he's,
But why doesn't he just do it at weekends? And
well, that's what I'm saying. He could do it after. He could do it after school. He could do it at weekend, and just see if he's any good at it, and if he becomes good.
But it must be if the mum is saying.
Yeah, but then the mum might, but
says that his wife's saying that we should let him follow his dreams.
Yes, well, a lot of mums are like that, aren't they? Yeah, I'll let him follow his dream and all that.
I wanted to be a Pontin's blue coat.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you should stop your kids doing something that they really want to do, because then they just rebel and might do it anyway.
Yeah. He might rebel and he might climb out of his room at night and go film something.
Well, yes, I mean, if he's got the backing from his parents, or especially, his mum and that.
I mean,
I'm sure the mum will talk the dad round. Yeah. I mean, if he's got it with their blessing.
Yeah,
he won't go off. He won't go off to rouse. He must really want to try and do it.
I'm all for kids following their dream.
Yeah. And if it doesn't work out, they can just go. Well, you tried it. It didn't work out. You have to try and find another.
You kid can't just drop out of school under 18 anyway.
No, that's right. You don't. I mean, you can't.
Unless they're in university.
Yeah, I was right. Unless they're in university or college, you can't drop out of school.
Well, do you know what? To be fair, on this time, I have to say that that's quite a risky advice.
Yes. Well,
let him drop out. It's fine. I'll see you in a month or two.
Yeah, life is risky. You got.
It is. It's very risky.
If that's what the kid really wants to do,
fine.
I mean, he could be one of these kids out selling drugs and all that, couldn't he?
That's true. Yeah, definitely choose YouTubing over that.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, question of the week. Say it like Steve. He's all for it. Don't worry about that degree that you could have had.
But how many people go to these universities, get a degree, and don't go in the job?
Did you go to university?
No.
Did I?
I went to university.
Did I go to university?
No.
Did your other son go to university?
No, I went to the...
Do you know anyone who went to university?
I went to the University of Life.
Don't be an influencer. We're coming to the end of episode 4 of Cockney Son, but we can't end it yet because we haven't done...
Oh, it's time for Cockney Slang Word of the Week. Apples and pears. Down the stairs. You get what I'm saying?
So last week's Cockney slang word of the week was...
Means pies.
So we actually did get quite a few people answering that on YouTube comments, yeah. And I did the little story with the box, didn't I? And people did. It was either a 50-50 of... Well, what was the correct answer, first of all?
Eyes.
So congratulations if you did choose eyes.
Yes.
Mince pies.
Yeah. Got your minces on that.
There we go. Don't know what you said. So, Cockney slang word of the week for episode 4 is...
Treacle. Tart. No, not treacle. Tart. Treacle.
Was it treacle?
Yeah.
Right. So just to clarify, Cockney slang word of the week is...
Treacle tart.
You just said not treacle.
You can use... You might as well use both. Because if you say treacle, people are going to go, what rhymes with treacle?
Treacle tart.
Yeah.
All these people that you're educating with this lost language.
Well, of course. Well, I just hope I can hear it on the streets. Yeah.
So we've come to the end of episode 4. I feel like we got a bit sensible...
We did.
And deep.
We did.
In the parenting section
Well,
for a bit of an hour.
that is a deep subject.
And I feel like we've thrown the followers because I feel like they just thought, oh, Cockney Son, just a bit of a laugh. No, serious.
No, sometimes you've got to have a bit of,
We can do all the emotions.
Yeah, it all depends what the subject is.
Yeah.
You've got to be a bit deep,
Yeah, sensible.
And then...
You admitted, live on the podcast, that parenting nowadays is harder than when you did it.
Oh, definitely.
No, you don't need to say nothing. We'll just end it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had it easy.
Well.
You had it easy. Anyway.
Well.
You had it easy, yeah? Still, although we're on episode 4 and I feel like we're in our groove with it now, we still need more followers on Instagram. We still need more subscribers on YouTube, just to share the word of Cockney and Son.
Yeah, share the love.
Final word.
Yeah.
What's your message for this week?
Share the love. Go on the YouTube.
Right, well, no, we're not... anything else. Just general advice.
No, general advice. Be careful out there in the sunshine.
It's raining.
I know, but... Take it easy out there. It's still muggy weather.
Yeah.
Even though it's a little bit rainy today. Just take it easy. Smile.
Just weather advice.
Yeah, just have a smile and have a laugh.
Have a laugh.
Smile at people.
Smile at people.
And then smile back.
And we'll see you for episode 5.
Yeah, and all being well, we'll be back here
next week
for number 5.
Done.
I'm going back to my home now.